My son is driving as of today.
Celebrate.
As of yesterday at 11:30 a.m., he passed the test, and by passing the test, I mean he walked up to the counter, and they said, "Here's your picture.
Ordered a license.
Take your pictures, stand and smile, and here you go." My wife took him. He now is a licensed driver. First place he drove, McDonald's.
Yeah.
Of course. That was his.
Right to it.
Now, she didn't let him drive her home from the DMV. She's like, I'm not doing that.
She drove both of them home.
She did. I said, that's a rite of passage for somebody to drive you home. She's like, no.
That's the moment you remember.
She'll never drive with him. She'll never ride with him.
I think you're going to be surprised how much your world will change.
I think it's going to be great.
Because now you can send the boy out for things.
Yeah, run to...
You forget something for him, go run to the store.
Go get my sour cream.
Yeah.
Go get my mashed potatoes.
I need cream of chicken.
Somebody wants to go play we'll go.
Go get my taco meat.
Yeah.
Go pick
up our dinner order.
Exactly.
Well, this is where it switches from that I need to go to I need some cash for.
A lot of that. I mean, already, that kind of thing. That's been happening the last couple of weeks.
But there's no gas. I need gas.
Well, he's going to realize, I think this is where his job, that he'll end up getting a job because now that he can get out more, he's going to realize, well, I need the funds to get out more.
My wife reported 2 issues at the DMV that we had prepared for one, but not for the other. One, he was sitting there, and the woman said, "Do you want to be an organ donor?" and handed him pictures of a heart, a brain, and a lung.
Whose are those?
And he goes, "Oh,
what?
Mom, what is this?" Apparently, there were kidneys on there was like, you can donate your eyeballs, your kidneys, your brain, your heart. I mean, everything you could imagine. Veins. They had pictures of veins.
Well, because I'm an organ donor, but I always picture them seeing me and being like, no,
that's not.
It's funny because
Are you absolutely sure you want to be?
Every member of the show needs one of those things.
That's right.
Yeah. Demm needs a kidney.
I need eyes.
I could use a liver.
I use veins.
I probably needed them all.
I want veins. How many times have I said I want some veins on
all
this show?
The time.
I want the veins
you
on this show.
You don't need them.
He decided to wait until next time to become an organ donor. And I was okay
That's
with
fair.
it. He said, I'll do it next time around. That's fine. And I told my wife, I said, you let him make his decision.
I knew it was coming.
So she says you can pre-register to vote here at the
That's right.
DMV. Even though you're not 18, you'll be registered when you turn 18. And he said, okay, yes. And his mother sat to the side, and they say, do you wish to register as a Republican, a Democrat, or independent?
Republican.
What's that?
Ma'am, it's his decision.
You say, Mom.
Did she pinch his arm or his leg? I think you know, honey.
Was she dressed in all red? I think you know which way this family leans.
I told him to make his own decision, and I never interfere in anything like that. That's how I told my wife, we're not going to tell our children what our party affiliation is. They'll never know.
Oh, it's written on your forehead.
Well, she's gone behind my back, I believe, and told them exactly what she wants. When I'm not around, I think she gives them one party or the other. I won't say which one. I refuse to say which one. And he chose, apparently quite clearly, which party he wanted to be in. And I'm not going to reveal it to you.
My mom says Republican. She says she'll kill me if I don't.
I guess we're Republicans and Methodists.
I'm not going to tell you what he wound up saying.
My dad says he is one.
He's a rhino. My dad's a rhino. It's horrible. Yes, so they had that yesterday, and it was very nice. It was he got his license, went out to McDonald's, later went to Jersey Mike's to get dinner for him and my daughter.
Okay,
nice.
Yes, so he's been to two
like father, like son.
2 trips.
I'm pretty sure I had the same day.
Look where he's gone.
They all involve food.
Now, my wife and I ate out. I told you this. We went to see a movie last night. Now, the movie is called Tethered, and it's by a group we know, 4 Leagues Media. Chris Demm's in the movie. He does voiceover in the movie. Now, of course, I have to pretend to be happy about this.
Of course.
In reality, what am I thinking?
But he's not on camera.
Not on camera. No, you do not see him on camera. He does a voice. But my whole thought is,
I could have done that. I have a voiceover business.
That's right.
They went around me to go to Chris Demm to do a voiceover. And, of course, when it was over, we had a little question and answer. with the cast and everything. Chris Demm couldn't be there, but all the directors and producers and everything.
You didn't stand up, did you?
No, I sat.
No, others asked, I'm sure, though. Who was that well-spoken old elderly man?
Exactly. I'm just seething in my...
I love the voiceover.
Best part. Although, take solace in this, and then Chris Demm, it's either his voice or they cover him up with all kinds of monster makeup. You never see him.
One or the other.
True.
You've never seen him.
True.
Get a quick glimpse of his legs. Apparently, he went out there that day. They shot it in the freezing cold in the winter. And the first thing the director said to him was, strip to your skivvies. And he didn't know.
I thought I was doing voiceover. You are.
Huh?
Everybody strips to their skivvies.
This is the casting couch.
Let's go.
I thought I was doing voiceover.
That's right.
Every question was like, where did you find that magnificent voiceover artist? Unbelievable. And
they just wanted his legs in there, too?
I'm just seething. Let me be honest. I didn't even see the legs. I only heard the voice.
Well, you're the better for it because he's got the legs of a 60-year-old woman.
I know that. Who was that old lesbian's legs?
Who's that with the varicose?
Talking about vein transplant.
Yeah, spider webs.
Anyway, he did the voiceover work quite well. And
did you know? And you knew it was him when you heard him? You thought,
I did.
There he
well,
is.
Actually, I was about 3/4 of the way through it. I turned to my wife. I was like, "That's Chris Demm."
What's he doing in this?
What the?
I did. He was literally. It's like he's in it for a bit, and you hear the voice over. And I was like, that's a nice voice. And I thought, oh, wait a minute. I know who that is. There was music playing.
Okay.
In my defense, there was, stuff going on around it. But nonetheless, the movie was great. It really is good. I mean, it's a low-budget movie. There's like 4 or 5 actors in it only, including Chris Demm. And the movie's called Tethered. And now they tried, it was a screening. It was only for donors to the movie, investors in the movie, and members of the cast. And there were several investors there, and they all said the same thing to me. The hell are you doing here? I know you didn't drop a dime.
I was going to say.
And you're not in the movie.
Not in the movie.
How did you get here?
So just go get me another popcorn.
I was invited by a dear friend who is part of Four Leagues Media. And so I had to say, well, I got a special. It's like a golfer getting a special exemption to the U.S. Open or something, I wasn't supposed to be there, but I was there. And the movie's really, really good. They're trying to sell it to a studio now and get it released on a Netflix or out of the big screen.
Okay.
It's really interesting. It's a great premise, and there were times in the movie, a couple of times toward the end, that I actually got chills. You know how you...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it was that good. I was very impressed with it. And especially since I knew these guys, I was like, wow. Because it was undersold to me that my friend who was part of it said, well, it's okay. We're going to make some tweaks. And I thought it was really, really good. I liked it.
Don't tell the other people that. One of the guys involved. Guess it's okay.
Well, he said we're going to tweak it a little bit.
He was the associate producer.
Before we went to the movie, we went to dinner. And it's the first dinner I've had out in a long, long time.
I'm sure, yeah.
Now, you tell me if this is appropriate or not.
What level restaurant we talking here? Don't do it without giving the name.
I can't give you the name. I told Dave what it is. I think it's a step above Applebee's.
Okay.
But not
maybe
like
2 steps.
2 steps above Applebee's, but not as good as like a really high dollar steakhouse.
Gotcha.
All right, let's say that.
Okay.
It's not Ruth's Chris, but it's above.
Gotcha.
We had a gift card. All right. Obviously, I'm not going to actually spend any money whatsoever.
No.
You know how I am.
And how old is that gift card?
Been around for a while. That one
searching under your boxers. I think he gave it to me for Father's Day. Of what year? I don't know.
I don't know. When they let me off that other show.
So we go and we're having a nice dinner. The dinner is good, and we're seated at a table, and I'm staring right at a booth. I can see a booth where a couple of people are, but my wife can't. She's pointed the other direction. We're sitting she's to my left, looking off the other way.
Sure.
Any romance? Was it romantic at all?
For the other couple, yes.
Oh, I was thinking for you two.
Oh.
I thought it was somewhat romantic.
I mean, you guys never, it seems like you two never go out and share each other.
Exactly. Last night we shared each other over dinner. I got the grouper. And
what'd she get?
She got the shrimp and grits.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. And it's good. It was really good. But about 10 minutes into dinner, the other couple sat down. Now, this has nothing to do with it. It's 2 women. Okay, fine. And they sit on the...
So at this point, your wife doesn't even exist.
Doesn't see him. Well, she doesn't see him. I do.
I mean.
I'm staring at him. Okay?
I bet you are.
Yeah. She can't see him. And they sit on the same side of the booth, and there's nobody else that comes. It's a couple. They're clearly into each other. One is stroking the other's hair a lot, and I'm just staring at it.
Grouper.
Okay. But about 5 minutes after they sit down, one of the members of the couple takes their shoes off and puts their feet on the other bench and just and she wasn't injured or anything either.
Propped up.
Just propped up on the other bench where no one is sitting across the booth.
And you don't go for that.
I hate feet. Yeah. I hate them. And they were, it's like, you got your own nasty feet up on the booth. That's my reaction. I was like, this is disgusting. It is disgusting.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you if you leave shoes on.
Yeah.
To me, you shouldn't do that in a restaurant, period.
Shirts and shoes required. Shirts and shoes are required.
But if you leave your shoes on, you want to stretch out,
yeah,
I'll look at you a little, but I'm not going to. But when you take your feet out and bare feet in a restaurant,
go home and stretch out.
Bare feet. In the restaurant, feet up on the other bench of the booth. And I'm staring at it the whole time we eat. So we eat. I didn't even mention it to my wife. We've had the dinner, and now we're almost finished. And she leans over to me and she goes, "Oh my God, don't stare. But I think that woman's got her shoes off." And I was like, "Sweetheart, I've been looking at this.
I've been looking at that
for an hour.
40 minutes now.
Yeah.
Where you been?
You know.
I've undressed both of them with my eyes multiple times.
But I don't like feet, a whole bunch of nasty feet. And my wife said, "I'm telling the manager." And I said, "Oh, no, you're not. You're not telling the manager."
Oh, did she?
She did. She goes, "I want the manager to tell them it is not appropriate to take your shoes off in a restaurant and put your nasty feet up on the booth bench." And I said, "No." We're about to leave. We were done. The bill was coming. I said, "No, you are not to do that." She goes, "I won't be back to this restaurant." I said, "Wait a minute."
Whoa.
Exactly. I said, "It's not the restaurant's fault." She goes, "The server should tell them that you can't have shoes off in this restaurant."
That's a touchy subject for a server.
That's what I thought.
What was the shoe choice that came off? Nothing had to be untied.
Was it like a ked?
Was it a sandal?
It was a sandal. It was a sandal taken off.
Well,
and then her own nasty feet. But her nasty old feet.
Well, I'm with you.
Gross.
Did she leave them up pretty much the whole meal?
Whole meal. It's like they were on they prop, but the bottoms of her feet were touching the side of the booth.
I don't think that could be comfortable that long either.
Yeah, she was down. One would go down, the other. But it was like you're at home, on your coffee table.
How old were these?
Young. 25. Young.
Hot.
Yeah.
25-year-old lesbians?
Yeah. Stroking each other.
How is it that wherever we go out to eat, there's always...
I don't know. It's the second time that's happened. That's probably the last meal I had.
It's like we're moths to a flame.
I know. Dave and I, and all of us were at a steakhouse a year and a half ago, and some gorgeous women sat near us. And I couldn't see. A pole was between me and one of them. And
me too.
Yeah. And I didn't know it.
And it wasn't there when we got there.
Yeah. And Chris Tipp said to Dave, "Don't let Chris Kelly know this is going on." But,
we eat near an odd number of lesbians.
They're drawn to us.
I don't know.
Which I'm all for.
What's going on? But they were stroking each other. One was all in the other's hair, and they were like rubbing each other, But the feet on the booth. But my question is, should a server say you have to have shoes on? And should a manager be told? I said no, and we're leaving, and I would definitely go back to the restaurant. It's good food. It was a very good meal. But my wife was upset that they didn't tell her. And it was clearly visible. I don't see any way the server missed it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, there many times.
I'm really torn on this because I don't know if it's the server's place.
Yeah, the manager could
say it.
The manager could come
over.
But
I feel like the server could say something
to the manager
and say, "Hey," especially now. But if somebody complained.
Well, she wanted to complain. My wife wanted to complain, but I said no to that because we were done. The bill was about to come, and I said,
"What difference does it make?"
Yeah, she had just barely seen it. I'd seen it before.
And I don't know what kind of argument they could say. It says, "Well, you have to have shoes and shirt." Well, I have that.
But you're not wearing them.
Yeah, and to me, it's
if I took my shirt off and put it on the table, I could say, "Well, I've got a shirt right here."
Can you get on a customer though about just bad manners? That's the question.
It was bad.
You can. Some restaurants wouldn't allow that, but again, this restaurant's maybe more borderline.
Well, you could easily, and you got to, and let me just say it, it's risky to make that move right now too, because you could be painted as somebody who's,
the cameras come out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a Karen all of a sudden. I'm a Karen, right?
Yep. All of a sudden, you're a Karen. You don't support LGBTQ. You're painted in that light.
Good point.
It's risky for the manager.
Very good point. And
then you got people boycotting outside your restaurant.
But I'll tell you something. I'll tell you what I say though. It was not as good of an experience as it should have been because I don't like feet, and I'm staring at a couple old nasty feet the entire time. And
that's the bottom of the barrel.
I did not like that. I thought that was real low, and so what you're saying, what Biggie's saying is exactly right. If you complain about it and the manager does something about it, all of a sudden you're anti-LGBTQ.
Now, the other option, of course, which is a bigger pain, you could ask for another table.
Could have.
But, I mean, that
pretty crowded. I'll tell you, it was pretty crowded.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, is there somewhere else to sit? And it puts it on you to be burdened to have to move.
I know.
I would be, to me, that as the manager, I would have been like, I am between a rock and a hard place here. Because I want to make this person happy.
Yeah.
But I feel like I am going to go over there and I'm going to have a firestorm on my hands.
But sometimes people learn like that. And it's unfortunate. But, if they're told by somebody from an outside force, hey, look, put your damn shoes on.
Well, I wonder how they would have reacted. They might have reacted as if they were being
it's a wide
put
array.
upon.
It could have gone
you
anyway.
You just don't know. But they're young.
They could have exploded, or they could have been. I'm sorry, I forgot.
I thought it was a really rude thing to do, but I would never say anything about it. I just like, okay, I'll grin and bear it. Now, had my gorgeous wife seen this 30 minutes before she did, she would have been incensed, and she would have, because we were done by the time she saw it.
So did she tell the manager?
No, I convinced her not to. I was like, come on, we're leaving. Let's just go. And, and I said it didn't affect your meal. It affected mine.
You have to pull her out by the elbow?
Yeah.
Come on. Got a movie to go to.
Chad, you want to comment on this situation? Go ahead.
Yeah, I used to work in restaurants for years and years, fine dining restaurants. And no one person's experience is better than the other's. So as a manager, you got to kind of play both sides a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I think if there's a complaint, it's not the server's job, it's the manager. And, you got to take care of it if it's affecting the experience.
Well, if no one complained, should the server have said to the manager, hey, she's got her shoes off, and have the manager come over and make her put them on?
Oh, definitely. I think as a server, you should say in the back room, whatever, hey, this table's doing whatever.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day was a big time for customers kind of get handsy a little bit, make other people uncomfortable.
Yep, I understand.
So we always used to,
How did you handle that? If they were getting too handsy at the table, you just tell them no public displays of affection?
Yeah, I would tell the manager. As a server, I don't want to affect the tip, so
right.
You got to kind of finesse your way through it a little bit. But if no one's complaining, they're having a good time.
No big deal. Got it. All right. Thank you. But see, I think thanks, Chad. I don't think in that situation last night, it's like, I don't think anybody should have to complain. I do think the server should see it, go to the manager and say, look.
That's not the times
because a lot of people don't like to complain, but Biggie's exactly right. If you do anything to anybody, and plus you could be labeled anti-LGBTQ Karen or Chad or whatever you're going to be called when you come out there,
Every time you're in public, it's social media worthy.
That's
Wherever
right.
it is. I don't care if you're in a parking lot.
Yeah.
You've seen it?
Oh, I have.
You see it every day.
Somebody whips out a phone.
That's all it takes.
Gets this manager. My wife's the Karen, who started the whole thing. Trucker D, you want to comment on this situation? Go ahead.
For once, Chris Kelly, I totally agree with you. Because in this day and age, you can't just stick your nose in somebody else's business, especially if it ain't affecting you, whether you agree with it or not.
Yep.
So I really think you did the right thing.
Yeah, I'm glad the way we played it, but it's too bad because I think they got away with something that's nasty.
You did have to suffer through a grouper foot.
I did.
I mean, you're the one that was subjected to it.
There's old grouper foot.
Yeah, and she never knew the difference.
No, she didn't.
She's enjoying her night.
Right at the end.
Unless she complained later and said, that guy that was sitting over there was looking at my feet.
She might have. She might have. Thank you, Trucker D. My wife, God knows, if she had seen it earlier, she'd have choked on a shrimp. I'm telling you. I'd have had to do the Heimlich right there. Jessica, you wanted to comment on this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, bad behavior definitely needs to be corrected, but it's all in the way you do it.
Mm-hmm.
The manager could have just kind of made rounds to all the tables so he wasn't singling anybody out.
Yeah.
And when he got to their table, how's everything going? Hey, would you mind putting your shoes back on?
Right.
That'd be all right. I'd appreciate it.
He could have said, it's a shirts and shoes required restaurant. I'm afraid it might affect somebody else's night. Would you mind putting it back on? That's right. If you do it the right way. Thanks, Jessica. Appreciate it. You can't just go over there and say, hey.
I would have approached it the other way and said, hey, can we have another table? To the manager.
Yeah, maybe.
And they come around, and then they say, well, is something wrong?
Well.
Then I would say, look, I just want another table, and this is why. And if you want to do something about it, great. If not, I need to move.
Well, my wife might have done that had we seen it earlier. Rob, you're talking about the footless grouper. Go ahead.
So I was
a doorman bouncer in a restaurant in Wilmington, and the server came to me with the exact same situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wrote a little note, said, "Hey, give this to the bartender. Tell him to take a little sampler of wine over to them." The note said, "Hey, put your shoes back on. Take them off the bench." And that was it. Little sampler of wine. Problem solved.
Then they get a little something, yeah. And then they're not feel put upon, and you give up a little wine. Okay, that's kind of smart the way you handle it, as Jessica just said.
Now, if she'd have taken her shoes off, shoeless grouper.
Grouper shoe. Grouper foot.
If she takes her shoe off, but leaves her feet on the floor, her legs crossed,
Yeah, I wouldn't have noticed that.
You wouldn't have bothered you.
I don't think I would have even noticed.
It's the feet on the boot.
That really did bother me. That was bad.
I mean, you're at McDonald's Hardee's. That's one thing.
That ruined the fantasy.
There's no feet in Kelly's fantasy.
Oh, because I know how your mind works, too. You see two of them, same side of the booth. Whoa! And then all of a sudden feet come out, and you're like, oh, no.